Welcome back to Black Geek Energy. We have a special guest returning. And if you don't already know, our special guest is the brilliant Nigerian writer behind I Am
Mm.
Moon Knight. No, I Am Iron Man, excuse me. Moon Knight, Black, White, and Blood, and the current run of Storm, which has been
Mm.
shaking the X-Men universe and the full 616 universe. Let me just get that straight in all the
Hmm.
best ways. He is also the co-creator of New Man and a rising voice in global comics, blending powerful storytelling with deep cultural resonance. Today, we are diving back into the eye of the storm,
Ooh.
literally, as we catch up on everything through issue 7 of Storm. Murewa Ayodele, welcome back to the show.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I missed you guys. I also remember that last time we did a little game talking about Storm and Thor,
Yeah, yeah.
and and in this issue, I get to have Storm and Thor. In the issue that's come out, I get to have Storm and Thor talking. So
Yes,
so I get to play around with that difference in voice.
Nice,
yes, yes.
nice. That's one of the things I hope we get a chance to get into in this episode that you capture a lot of different voices in the comics. 'Cause I've been keeping up and reading every issue. But yeah, but before we get into that, like how have you been? What's been going on since the last time we talked?
Yeah, I've been doing good. It's been really, really fun. It's so different now because I'm writing like the double digit issues now, and
Mm,
Mm,
it's it's technically like my first time writing a double digit issue. So it's
nice.
been a very
congratulations,
Congratulations.
congratulations.
thank you. So it's been very interesting and challenging and very different experience.
Nice, nice.
Did you tell us last time, like when you start writing a new comic, yeah, once you get to like issue 15 or something, that's when they kind of like evaluate whether it's going to be, you
No,
know,
he said
like,
5 last time.
oh, five. It was
Yeah.
five issues.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you already have that evaluation? How did it go?
So yes, I get 5 issues every 5 issues. So
Oh, nice.
um so yeah, so when I started, I only had 5 issues.
Hmm.
So when issue 1 came out and they saw the sales and the pre-orders for the next issue, they're like, okay, now you can do 6 to 10.
Hmm.
So, and now that we've seen 6 and 7, how they're doing well. So it's not like, yeah, you can go to the next 5 issues. So
Mm.
those are
Nice.
the issues I'm working on right now.
Okay, cool.
So I want to get more into comic stuff later, but I have to ask, you have been on like it's critically acclaimed this run. Like how does it feel for everyone to be loving this project?
Ah, it's 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 um it's very, very different. It feels very different. Um, I remember the first time I worked on an international comic book series called Newman for with Action Lab Comics.
Mhm.
And I was so used to, because I've been a comic book fan, just being in online discourse for years. So I guess I thought I thought every comic book that gets published in the US, you know, they get discussed on the Wednesday that the issue comes out. I thought it was like the natural, normal thing.
Hmm.
Because even in Nigeria over here, we have some small groups online. So even when some issues of the Nigerian comics I was publishing here do get released, maybe some small Facebook groups, you see people discuss it and talk about it and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So, but this New Man was the first comic book that was internationally published. And so on the Wednesday it was going to come out, I log in online and I was like, yeah, okay. So I'm waiting for the discussions to come in now. I'm searching, I'm on Twitter. I'm like, okay, any minutes now. And nothing ever comes in. Like nobody talks about it at all. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I guess it's not normal. I guess it's like the creme de la creme, the very
Hmm.
top comics that get talked about. It's not like all comics get talked about. So I was like, oh, so that
Mm.
was the first thing that kind of like humbled me, like, we just focus on the work and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So now getting that experience that I was expecting then, now getting it now,
Mhm.
where even like a day before the comic even comes out, some people even get some illegal leaks and some stuff and the discussion, and it is, some people say, they have like friends that are like comic shop owners, and they've they're like, dude, I always come here, I buy all the variants and stuff. I need to read this comic before it comes out. And they're like, sure, 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 sure.
Yeah.
So you see people that are, already talking about it as early, sometimes as early as Monday, as
Hmm.
early as Tuesday before the book comes out. Some people buy from Amazon Australia
Mm.
because of time difference.
Oh, okay.
So
Let
that
me let me sign up for Amazon Australia right quick.
so everybody from Amazon Australia, because it's like 12 hours earlier than
Hmm.
US. So they get to read the books like 12 hours earlier than everybody else.
Mm.
So different things like that. So you see people already talking about the books before it comes out, and it surpassed even some of the expectations I had coming into the industry then. So that has been very, very fun. That has been very humbling. um I cherish that. So because I've experienced logging in and finding nothing about your book,
Okay.
nobody saying
Yeah.
anything about your book, because I've experienced that. I really, really, really appreciate I know it's not normal. So
Hmm.
going on and seeing all those discussions and everything, seeing all the wonderful reviews, seeing everything, it's been I just it makes you happy doing what you are doing, and it energizes you to keep going. So yeah, it's
Nice.
it's, it's been a really spectacular experience.
How long did it take to go from like that first issue dropping, you logging in and there's nothing to, you know, like you log in and like or days before the issue drops, people are have something to say. They've already read it. Like was it like issue
Uh
3, issue 4?
oh, sorry. Let me get the question correct. Like, can you rephrase it?
Sure, sure, sure. So,
Can you rephrase the
you
question?
you 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 mentioned how like when the first issue was dropping, like there, you logged in and there wasn't like a whole lot of chatter online about the comic book yet, right? So, how long did it take for you to notice that shift, for things to go from like
Okay, okay,
no
okay.
one's really reading it to like, yo, people are getting this before it comes out?
Okay. That first issue I was talking about was a previous comic that I
Oh,
did with another
okay.
publisher. Uh yeah, Storm from the very first issue was like way hot like that.
Yeah.
Um, but I wasn't sure if it was like algorithm that was deceiving me.
Hmm.
Because when you're online, if you like a lot of things, you see more of the things that you like. So it
Mm.
doesn't
Right.
necessarily mean that everybody likes it. So, when people were telling me the book is sold out and stuff like that,
Hmm.
I saw some people that were not rightfully, but were a little bit skeptical, saying that, yeah, if a comic shop only ordered 3 copies because they weren't sure the book wasn't going to be successful, and 3 copies got sold out, it still sold out doesn't mean the book sold well. So, there are people saying stuff like that, and I'm like,
Yeah.
well, so that kind of created a little doubt. I went on some interviews. They're like, oh my God, do you know how long it took me to get a copy? This thing is selling like hotcakes. People love it. I'm like, yeah, I'm grateful and all, but I'm still like, okay, no, we shall see. And so it took like issues, where
Yeah.
like maybe like around issue 4, issue 5, and you're like, oh, we're still consistently every week we come out, we're in the top 10.
Mm.
Every month we are in the top 40,
Nice.
30 something and stuff like that. So you're like, oh, so that's good. But to kind of answer your question, for that first comic that I did,
Hmm.
that I logged in, I didn't see any response till Storm 1. I think it's about 4 years.
Hmm.
4 years.
That was
Oh
about four
man, so you
years
you
Wow.
you were in the
gap.
game a while
So
before. I mean, I feel like they say that about a lot of industries. Like you got to work in it for a while before you really start to see the results.
Yeah.
Um, but with Storm, I definitely have a
yeah,
story just like you just mentioned. Like after we had you on the show, I was trying to get the next issue sold out, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, I had what ended up happening is the comic book guy he took the issue out of someone else's like pull list and was like, they don't come in that often. We'll get them another issue later on. So I had to steal someone else's Storm comic. But I
yeah,
got
I know a friend of yeah, I know a friend of mine in the UK too. So that I just got back into comics. So he only orders like Absolute Batman and Storm. And he would probably, if he goes to if he goes late, he will
mm,
probably still get Absolute Batman, but he won't get Storm.
yeah.
Because there's something about the Storm comic for some reason. It's not necessarily about the quantity itself, it's the fact that the readership of the Storm series come early. You know,
Mm,
even for some books that might sell more than Storm, or they might sell throughout the week. It might be like, oh yeah, they're coming in bit by bit from Wednesday till the next Wednesday, they're coming bit by bit. But for the Storm series, it's like everybody comes on the first day.
gotcha. That's why I have to.
So it's like you don't wait till the weekend. Like by the weekend it's sold out. It's like they go in on the first day. So you would also see it on even the Amazon
Mhm.
charts as well. When Storm comes out on Wednesday is like in the top 5. There was a particular week that we were number 1. We were outselling Ultimate Wolverine.
Out the
Mm.
front
Which is
door. Congratulations,
Wow.
man.
Wow.
like there was a week where we also the Ultimate Wolverine, like it was like massive, like damn. So that's because they come on that first day, like everybody comes on that first day.
Yeah.
So on that Wednesday, it's like very hard to beat Storm fans. They pour in. So yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily even about how many people are buying it. It's how energetic they are towards the series itself. They
Hmm.
want to know what happens next immediately. So that's why I say even people on Amazon are going to buy it in Amazon Australia to make sure they get it earlier, and things like that. So yeah, that's so that even makes it more exciting than just even the number of people buying it. The
Yeah.
fact that the people buying it themselves are so enthusiastic about the product. So that's
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to feel great. And then you
it's
deserve it. It's a great read.
yeah,
Yeah, you
feels
definitely
good.
deserve it. Um, but
Thank
yeah,
you.
I just want to, since we're on the comic, I want to talk about the letter section right quick. You
Yeah.
went into a lot of personal things, a lot of your background in the letter section. And one of the things that I loved the most was, I think it was issue 4. Let me just make sure, because I do have the comic books right here with
Mm.
me. I
I got the receipts.
got the receipts. No, I got the notes so I don't say anything wrong. But it was 4 or 5. You talked about the type of Nigerian spells that they would do. And you had the words of the spell in Nigerian. And I just thought that was so beautiful. And then you translated it for us. Um,
Yeah.
so like we could see how your culture is directly influencing this book and making it more real for Storm. So like tell us more about like the spells that are in here, the other influences in your culture that are really affecting this book.
Okay. I think that was actually issue 2.
Mm.
That was issue 2, where we see Dr. Voodoo.
Mm.
Um,
Hmm.
issue 5, issue 5 and 4. think I talked about immigration issues that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
sometimes Nigerians
With your
face in the
sister?
UK. Yeah. So
Yes.
there's one of the mandates I was given um when I was hired to work on Storm is basically, you know, define what a Storm book is. We've had a lot of Storm solo series, but we've not, they've been mini series, some of the stories set in the past, like origin stories. We've only had one ongoing, the Greg Pak ongoing series,
Mm-hmm.
and it went for 11 issues. We're hoping to break that record to go further than that. So it's like, you know, but even in that series, she didn't completely break off from the X-Men. But in this
Mm-hmm.
story, she's breaking off from the X-Men. Um, she's not a member of any of the X-Men team. They're making her join the Avengers. So the way you see, the the X-Men, they are like, if like all these people are coming together to be like one team, one hero kind of thing, while the Avengers are like a group of solo heroes. So they want her to play that role of like a solo hero kind of thing
Hmm.
in its full totality. So one of the things that I also came in to do is, okay, what do I want a Storm solo to feel like, to look like? And analyzing the things I like about Storm myself, from the cartoons, from the movies, from the comics, and things like that. So I'm like, okay, I've always gravitated towards the fact that she has African heritage.
Hmm.
So I'm like, okay, so that's check. Um, she has a little mystic origin that is
Hmm.
not usually explored. Check. She's often called a goddess. So she has a mythical side as well. So you're like, check. And the superhero aspect, the
Mm-hmm.
X-Men mutant aspect. So like, okay, so let's take all those four flavors and let's see how we can, put it into this story. So when it comes to the African aspect, you want to make some, references to, Africa itself, some from my own culture directly, some just some from other countries in Africa itself. In issue 9, we're going to see a cosmic entity that's going to be speaking in Swahili,
Mm.
which is Storm's native language. You're going to see a lot of magical spells, especially in West Africa, in the Caribbeans. They're usually in Yoruba. So that's why you see a lot of all those Yoruba spells. The visual aesthetics of what African mysticism is. If I'm going to be bringing the
Yes.
mystic side of Storm, I don't want it to look like Doctor Strange's
Mm-hmm.
own. I don't want it to
Hmm.
look like Scarlet Witch's own. It should have that. It should have our own unique flavor. So let's mix
Yeah.
the whole African thing into it.
Yeah.
So and when it also comes to the mythical side, where she's being referred to as a goddess and everything. So yes, we're going to be taking some inspirations from like Greek mythology,
Mm.
um, and some Mesopotamian myths and stuff like
Okay.
that.
Hmm.
But we're also going to be taking strongly from African mythologies as well,
Hmm.
especially the Yoruba mythologies. Okay, how do they structure their myths? How do the characters interact? What are some of the themes that they explore? And in in superhero so many times, the character is like Superman and those stuff, they are very perfect. But in a lot of old myths, especially the Greek and Yoruba mythology, the gods are very, very flawed.
Mm.
Mm.
They're very, very flawed. Um, and the stories that, as you see, as the Storm series is going, you're going to see that it's going to get a little bit more complex as we go before it becomes simpler again. And it's because, if you read a lot of all those mythologies, like Greek mythology and Yoruba mythology, they get complex at some point. Like the Titanomachy, like the where the gods were fighting the Titans.
Hmm.
You start reading it from different perspective, what role this god was playing, what role this god was playing, how this one betrayed this and this one betrayed this one and stuff like that. So you start seeing things like that. We're already introducing in the last issue, we're already introduced like four thunder gods, you know,
Hmm.
and and they attacked Storm. We're not
Yeah,
sure why, you
yeah.
know.
And
And in the next issue, we're going to see that it's for some political reasons, And in that one, too, we're going to introduce the storm god that is older than Thor, older than Zeus,
mm,
Mm.
and that might be at the root cause of this, is Hadad, also as Baal, which
yeah,
Okay.
is the oldest storm god that we know in record.
yeah.
So in this world, is also the oldest storm god. So,
Okay.
so we're playing with all those things, So in the coming issues, we're going to be visiting different realms, We know we visit Olympus a lot, we visit Asgard. Now we're going to be visiting Orun, the realm of the
Yes.
Orishas,
Hmm.
So we're going to be visiting, some special realms that's like it's like, where there's some places in on Earth where everybody on Earth can meet, where it's like the seas now, for example, and in space where
Mm-hmm.
there's like a treaty where everyone can go and cooperate together and everything, and share resources. We're going to meet realms like that where there is no all pantheons kind of have a treaty and have a claim on that realm. So we're going to start seeing some of these serious politics and power grasps, and so it's going to get really interesting when it comes to the mythical side. Still going to be having the superhero side. She's still going to be on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
In the coming issues, she's going to be having a clash with the FBI. You know,
Mm.
and so different things that you expect a superhero to, because a superhero is basically like a vigilante. You're definitely
Hmm.
going to have some run-ins with the law, and on how you operate and things like that. So so we're going to be having all that aspects of Storm explored, and that's the goal, and so that we can see that this is what a storm book is. When you pick up a Daredevil book, you're like, oh yeah, I'm reading this gritty noir story
Hmm.
that's also explores some religious things,
Mm-hmm.
talking about Christianity and things like that. If you read the Daredevil book and you see a Bible quote, you're not going to say, get religion out of my damn book.
Yeah.
You're not going to say
Yeah.
something like that because you expect to see it
Yeah.
there,
You expect it.
You
Yeah.
expect you
No.
expect to see you expect to see talks of, um Christian religion. You expect to see things about the law,
Hmm.
legal proceedings,
Mm-hmm.
you expect to see superhero shenanigans. You expect to see, some romance,
Mm-hmm.
there are some things you expect to see. And occasionally, you expect to see some mysticism too, just a little
Yeah.
bit.
Just a little
Hmm.
bit.
So those are the things, those are those pillars that make up a Daredevil book,
Mm-hmm.
and different creators play with different aspects of it to different degrees. Some lean more into the crime noir thing, some lean more into the religious thing, some lean more into the mystic things, where, Daredevil, trains with his master and Electra, and he learns how to use his sixth sense to this, that, and things like that. So I want to set up the pillars for Storm, so
Mm-hmm.
that, in future series, creators can now play with different aspects that they want, to a different degree and everything. So our work is to set up those pillars. And so that's why we've been seeing different things like that and setting up the aesthetics. And we need to put our Black and African heritage in the forefront as
Oh,
well.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. Yes. And hopefully you're setting the pillars for yourself and you're writing this book for years to come. Because I don't think anybody can write this book like you can. But in issue 7 in the letters page, we celebrated 50 years of Storm, and it
Mm.
was,
Yeah.
and you took us back to where she came from, all the places that she's been in, all of media. Since Giant Size X-Men 1 when she first appeared, and she blew X-Men expectations and comic book expectations out of the water. So like you are writing this iconic, legendary character that has been all over media. So how does that feel that you are the writer celebrating her during her 50th year birthday? How does that feel?
Um, like I think I've shared with you before, like even when I was offered the project, I was like, man, too scary. No, no, no way, I'm not doing this. You know, so every once in a while, when I'm writing an issue, I call Dotun, my friend, and I'm like, man, I still can't believe they're allowing me to do this, especially when I make this big change into something, For example, I'm writing an issue with Bishop. I just finished writing an issue with Bishop and stuff, and I'm like, Dotun, they're allowing me to use Bishop. How are
Mm.
they allowing me to use Bishop? How is this even possible? You know, um, you know, currently, I think Galactus and Silver Surfer, they're not even like in the Fantastic Four series. They're
Mhm.
going to be in the Storm series. And I'm like, I think Galactus and Silver Surfer are going to show up in the Fantastic Four movie, and they're in the Storm series.
Mm.
How are they allowing this to happen?
Yeah.
Right.
How is Marvel allowing this to happen? How?
You kind of want to
And I'm
ask, well,
like,
hey, you sure?
are they all yeah, so occasionally I'm like, okay, sometimes I submit stuff and I'm like, they see, I'm like, oh, maybe they didn't see it. Maybe they didn't see it. And then the artist draws the issue, and I'm like, of course they saw it because the
Mhm.
artist has drawn it. Now you can see it. And they're like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, we're cool with it. And I'm like, okay,
All right.
okay, if you say so,
Oh man.
Right.
So yeah, so it feels unbelievable. Because like I said, I've I've um I've experienced the part when it was little, when I was writing the
Mhm.
short stories, where I'm like, oh yeah, this is what Spider-Man would wear in this, and they're like, sorry, no, and or maybe I like, oh yeah, 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 I want to say this, and they're like, sorry, someone is already using this character, you know, and like, oh yeah, and things like that. So I've experienced all that. So and here just getting to just walk without like little to no limitations. Like here,
Mm.
just go on, blaze the
Yeah.
path and stuff. And I'm like, oh wow, thank you,
Yeah.
And
So, are you getting
I'm playing
fewer
with all the
notes?
cosmic entities right now.
Sorry. Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, I'm getting fewer notes.
Man, that's gotta feel good. That's gotta feel like make you more confident. Like, this is my character now. Like Storm
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And we're going to talk about those limitless boundaries later, but now is the part of the show that put you on segment. In this
Mm.
segment, we ask ourselves and our guests, is there if there's anything in all of media, comics, TV, movies, books, anything that you
Board
are
games.
board games, video games, anything that you are consuming right now that you want to put our listeners onto. And this segment is sponsored by Movie Pass. DeMarcus, can you please tell them about Movie Pass?
We're gonna try this again, Jerry. What do you want me to tell them about Movie Pass?
I want you to tell them about how great it is.
Movie Pass is an amazing service, saves you a lot of money, and lets you see a lot of movies. What else you want them to know, Jared?
Oh my God, DeMarcus.
Okay, I'll just read the spiel.
Thank you.
MoviePass is a subscription-based service that allows users to watch multiple movies in theaters every month. You pay your subscription, you get your MoviePass card, which is acts just like a MasterCard. You go online or in person, you can swipe that card to see movies, and it's easy as pie. Um, lowest tier, I believe, was like $10 when I signed up for it, and I could see maybe 3 or 4 movies a month on that alone, and it's worth it. You go to the movies one time with Movie Pass, and it's paid for itself.
Mm, yeah. So, Murewa, have you consumed anything recently that you would like to put our listeners onto?
Um, okay. I don't think it's new, but I just discovered it recently. I think last time I think I talked about Free Reign.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
And I think it's won anime of the year. So yeah, good on that.
yeah.
Um, but I think this is actually older than Free Reign, but I just discovered it. And that's oh my, I think I forget his title. It's about dungeons where they are going to eat in dungeons.
Oh, yeah.
Delicious in
Delicious in
Dungeon.
Delicious
dungeons.
in Dungeon.
Yeah, I think that's newer than
Yeah.
Fearing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's newer. Okay, I thought it was older.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Well, but
yeah, so
really good anime.
I'm enjoying I enjoyed that when I watched it recently. Um I enjoyed the recent season of Invincible and
Mm.
um
Hmm.
and the last season of Solo Leveling also was spectacular.
Okay.
Oh
So you do
yeah.
be
You
watching
watching everything we
anime.
watch.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, okay. That is great. Yeah, and the manhwa of solo leveling is good as well. So if you have
Yeah.
time, I know you're writing Storm on a cosmic level, but if you had time to just reading that as well. Um,
Mm.
Demarcus, do we have an activity
Or
for
the
you?
audiobook. Or the audiobook for the Soul 11. I
Mm,
listened to the audiobook. It was still really good.
yeah.
Um, I can't put people on
I
to
might check out
nothing.
the manhwa.
Yeah. I can't put people on to nothing, Jared. You ain't
Oh,
got
you
nothing to put
can.
people on
You
to?
can.
I
No,
mean,
not this week.
only thing I was gonna say is I've been playing Clear Obscure Expedition 33.
Oh, okay. And
I've
how
been
you
loving it.
liking it?
I've been binging that game. I was up till like maybe like 1 in the morning playing
Yeah, yeah.
yesterday. And then I had to
I
stop and like do all my chores.
yeah, I was playing it this morning too till 3. So we were on at the same
Mm.
time. And how
Hmm.
far did you get?
Where am I now? I just got to like the I just finished the little mansion in like the water level, the flying water.
Mm, okay, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Have
I
you heard of
got
this
there.
game, Morewa? Expedition 33?
Oh no, I have very poor self-control, so I stopped video games like I told you like
Yeah,
years
Oh,
yeah.
I
back
remember we
because
talked about this. I remember we talked about this. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So we're over here
if I
just
started
tempting you.
yeah, if I started I won't get any scripts done anymore.
Yeah.
I understand. I understand. All right. So we'll play the video games for you. We got you. But
Yeah.
Claire Obscura, it's been a beautiful game, and I think that's like the first thing I noticed. I was like, oh, this game is beautiful. Like really well, like the art is really well done. And then like it's not like a big IP, so it doesn't feel overdone. It feels fresh. It feels new. It reminds me of playing like smaller titles like on the Xbox, like when it first came out, used to be like one of my favorite things to do is like go to GameStop buy like a $15 game, um, just off the shelf, like whatever I happen to see. And sometimes it'll be great. Sometimes it'll be like, why did I waste my money? But but no, but Clair Obscur Expedition 33 has been like really good.
Yeah.
Um, my only critique, if I had to give a critique, is that it feels a little clunky to play sometimes.
Mm, okay. Well,
Hmm.
yeah, I did have to turn on for the active time battling system. I had to turn on the auto because I'm not wasting my energy on clicking A and clicking B the
Mm,
dodge and clicking right B the trigger, the
what?
parry. I'm not doing all that. I just want to play the game and watch the story. I'm not doing all that extra stuff.
Why?
So I did put on the auto
So
accessibility options.
a little context for Ray and our listeners. The game, like in the battle system, there's like a timing thing, like a timing mechanic, where when you make certain attacks or you're being attacked, if you press the right button at the right time, you can get like critical hits, you can get more effects from the attack. The attack becomes more powerful, or you can like completely dodge it or parry it if you're being attacked. And Jerry, why'd
Hmm.
you turn that off? I feel like that's like what makes this battle system so great. I remember
Hmm.
playing the game like this before, and I loved it then. Like it
Legend of
it
Dragoon.
is hard. Yeah, Legend of Dragoon. Yes, it is
Hmm.
hard. It does take time to get used to.
And I
But
turned it on Legend and Dragoon too. I'm not doing all that in my
Jerry,
battles.
why?
I'm not doing all that in my battles. I'm just no. Cause you have to cause like okay, doing it for attacks is one thing. Doing it for dodging is a totally separate. Doing it for parries, I don't even parry in God of War. So why am I parrying this turn-based RPG? No. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing counterattacks. I'm sorry. Never.
I understand how you feel because it is kind of hard, especially if you're fighting something for the first time.
Yeah.
Like there was like one thing I had to fight it like two or three times to like get its timing down on all its attacks to like be able to dodge everything
And that
because I
window is
wasn't
so
gonna let it.
small in the parries. It's so tiny.
You just
I'm not doing it.
you gotta stop looking at the little thing. You gotta go on instinct, Jerry. You
All
gotta
right.
feel it.
Well, anyways. Demarcus, do
But that's
we
all I
have
had. Do we have an
Demarcus?
activity? Yes, we do.
Yes, do we have an activity?
Yeah, yes, we do. And it's funny you mentioned the Storm and Thor, Murewa, because that's what we're about to do again. You know, now that we're
Oh
all
man.
so much deeper into this
Oh
comic.
no. Oh
Don't mess me up
no.
now.
You won last time, Murewa. You won.
Yeah,
You took the whole thing home.
but there wasn't any risk then because it was like, oh yeah, I could just be like, if I failed, I was like, you know what? I just started researching and stuff like that. But now I'm in too deep. If I fail, it's like, how dare
You will be
you?
even
So you
better.
knew you're a hack.
And we've been reading your Storm comic, so everything we know about Storm is from you.
Oh, God. Okay. So he has the final answer. He's the judge, jury, and
What? No.
execution.
And then,
You know how
oh
these
yeah,
games work.
or any question I get wrong, I make Storm say it in the next issue.
Yep, and it'll be canon. And it will be canon.
Yeah, now it's canon. Storm says it.
I actually won that game. If we go back and look at the
Oh,
game. Okay. So the way games work on Black Geek Energy, DeMarcus comes up with some questions, some fun for us to do. We're usually a trivia based format, but we just take different avenues with it. I decide the questions, I decide who's right, who's wrong, the winners and the losers. In today's game, like we played the last time we had Murewa on the show, is it's gonna be this or that. Is it gonna be does this quote come from Storm or does it come from Thor? These are two very similar characters for those listening out there. You know, and I have a question about I have a question later in the show. But
okay.
right now, we're ready to play. Give
All
me a
right.
number between 1 and 10.
5.
Mm-hmm.
Two.
Two. All right. The number was 9. Jared, you're
Oh
first.
God. Okay.
Now, I'll give you guys a little bit more about how I set this game up this time. I did a little bit more work than I did last time. I came up with like
Um,
a difficulty scale for these questions.
Okay.
So I have like 3 easy questions. I think that's right. Like 3 easy ones. Yeah, like 3 easy ones, like three, like 4 or 5 medium ones, and like 2 hard ones.
Okay.
Just to prepare
hmm,
your mind.
hmm,
You don't have to overthink
hmm.
Let's just get this
it.
over with because this is about to be embarrassing again. So come on, let's
All right, Jared, number one.
okay.
It's for you. The skies rage with my fury.
Oh my God. Is that it? Is that
And
That's
it?
that's
it.
just the easy
That's the
one.
quote.
Imagine.
I didn't say we was gonna start with the easy one.
I'm gonna say storm.
mm. Jared, that's not right. That was
Are
Thor.
you serious? That's a literal that's a literal side effect of her powers. When she's mad, it rages with her fury. So I'm calling shenanigans. I'm calling
This is
shenanigans.
from I got the sources too.
Oh
This is
my!
from the Thor movie 2007.
Let me log off. Let me log off and go. Let me go dig. Put my hole into a ditch because that's not fair.
What? What? That's not even a saying. What does
Oh
that
my
mean?
God. I don't know.
All right, Maria, number two is for you. Nature bends to my will. Is that Storm or is that Thor?
Storm, I think.
Absolutely right. That is Storm. Absolutely right. From Uncanny X-Men number 150,
Not you getting the
1981.
issues.
I told you I got the
Oh
sources
my
this time.
God.
Um,
Okay.
all right, Jared. Next one's for you. The Tempest and answers to me alone.
I'm gonna say Thor.
You're right. That is
Okay.
Thor.
Okay.
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay.
I think the
Yeah,
giveaway there was like Tempest.
Yeah, I don't
I don't
see
think
a
yeah.
Storm.
black person
I
saying Tempest.
don't.
I don't see. Yeah, black people don't really say that word.
Oh, see, some of these are easier. You just got to look for the clues. You got to look for the clues. All
Okay.
right, Murewa, this one's for you. I summon the full power of the storm.
Oh God. I would say Thor, but I might be wrong.
You said final answer, Thor?
I would say Thor.
Thor. All right, and it is
Yes.
Storm. Murewa. That was from
Ah,
X-Men the Animated Series, Season 1, Episode 3, Enter Magneto.
Hey, you gotta watch everything.
I'm just giving just in case y'all want to double check me, because Jared is always saying I'm pulling these out of my ass. So,
Okay.
all right,
Because I was
Jared,
about
next
to
one's
say that too. It was
but
on the tip of my tongue.
I got the receipt.
Wow.
Did I skip one? How many have we done? Four? No, I'm good. We're good. All right, number five, Jared, is for you.
Okay.
Lightning is but a whisper of my voice.
Storm.
That is Thor
Okay.
from
Door.
the third Thor. Thor
what?
number three.
Ow! I would have said Storm too. What?
Because it sounds really poetic. It sounds like something Storm would say. And I don't think most people
Yes,
think of
no.
Thor as like a poetic guy.
No, no. Especially when the whispers, the delicate nature
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a tough one. That was one of the harder ones. All right. Number six, Murewa. This one's for you.
Oh my
I am the
God.
storm, and I cannot be stopped.
Jeez.
I will admit that the game this time is harder than the last one was.
Golly.
Can you repeat it?
Sure, sure, sure. I am the storm, and I cannot be stopped.
Why does this sound like something Thor said in Immortal Thor or something? I
Mhm.
don't know.
It does sound very
Let
like
me,
it does sound very vain, like something Thor would say.
but I'm wrong, I guess. But
Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I was just agreeing with you.
I,
I'm just trying to help you support you.
hmm.
But Storm could have said that on
Hmm.
Mars.
Mm,
Like I see Storm saying
Hmm.
this, I
that's
see Thor saying this. I don't know.
that's kind of the point, you know.
Let, hmm. Oh man.
I mean, in Maria, like you said at the beginning, like you could just put it in the next issue and then you win.
Okay. I'll go against my instinct and say and say Storm.
You're right. It is Storm from X-Men #1.
Okay. Okay.
All right, all right. All right. #7, we're back to you, Jared.
Oh, goodness.
The storm is mine to command.
Who are they talking to?
If I were to give you a hint, that's not a good hint. I can't give you a hint. Blah, blah, blah. Let me think. Let me see what I got here. Hmm, 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 hmm. Okay. This is a definitive statement of dominion over storms. That's all. That is the hint I will give you.
Okay, so I'm gonna say Thor.
All right. Good job. Good job. That was Thor.
Okay.
Because the explanation here, this is from a Thor movie in 2011, but the explanation here is that Thor has dominion over storms, whereas Storm just asserts her power.
Okay. Well.
Murewa, #8.
Hmm.
I speak for the winds, and they obey.
Mm.
Oh. Hmm.
Hmm. And if you want a hint, just say so. I can come up with something.
It's that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So this quote talks about a rapport with the wind. Hmm. I think that's the best I can do. I think that's the best I can do.
So, okay, can you repeat the statement then?
Sure, sure. I speak for the winds and they obey.
Hmm.
We're talking about having a rapport with the wind, being able to talk to the wind.
I would say Storm.
That is correct. It is storm. Because the other side of the hint was instead of having dominion over, and I was like, I just said that. That's definitely I'm going to give it away.
Mm.
All right,
Okay.
coming down to the last two questions,
All right, let's do it.
Jared.
Okay.
In the game right now is 2-3, so it's anybody's game still.
Sure.
And
So
I
which
have
one
a
was
tiebreaker
so which
just
one
be-
were the easy ones? Which
Exactly.
one were the easy ones you claimed you had?
Yeah, which
I think
ones?
these we already. Which one?
Which which one?
Okay, Jared. The elements are extensions of my soul.
Storm.
That's right. See, I
Good.
feel like that's an easy. Yeah, no.
Good. Good.
Storm is definitely the more soul person of these two.
Except for when
Um,
she's
No,
whispering to
mistress.
the lightning.
No, mistress of the elements.
right. Um, okay, #10, Murewa, is for you. You can end the game right now. We 3-3. Time to seal the deal. And this is a hard one. I can't lie to you.
Uh-oh.
Um,
Uh-oh.
because I'm reading it and I'm like, if I didn't have the answer in front of me, I wouldn't know.
Uh-oh. Come on.
In the
Come
heart of the storm, I find clarity.
Ah,
Yeah, 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 yeah. I know, man. I know. I know. Um,
mm,
I, the hint I will give you is that this Wait. Mm, this is from a. I don't know. I don't know if that would be a good hit. Oh, let me think. Let me think some more. Let me think some more. Hmm.
Okay.
Don't let this quote sounds meditative. Don't let that fool you.
Okay.
Mhm. I'm not sure if that your hints just misdirected me or not now.
Right,
Thank God.
right.
I was trying to help.
Ooh. Hmm.
It sounds like meditation. One of these characters
Let's
is more likely to meditate than the other, but don't let that fool you.
let's go with Thor. Well,
That is
Yeah.
correct. It is a Thor quote. Yes. I don't feel like Thor often has like those moments of peace and moments of clarity in his
Mhm.
stories. Here and there, definitely, and they are impactful. But yeah, no, Murewa, you are the winner, 4-3. Uh, you guys got most of the questions right between the two of you. And you are still the undisputed
I
Storm Master.
I think the hints helped this time.
Exactly. The hints did help.
Fair
But
enough. No, no.
yeah, but
Okay. What
Morewa,
do you say?
we have to dive into the comic books now because I
hmm
have a ton of questions. And I just want to start
Mm-hmm.
right here, right now. Now, we already talked about issue
Okay.
one, and I reread it, and it mentions something about Storm trying to be a congresswoman or a political something. What was that all about?
Oh yeah, I said a lot of people still talking about that. The quotes basically said it was a rumor.
Oh,
That was just
okay.
me poking. That was just me poking fun at fans. Because when when the book when the book was announced, um, when the O from the Ashes was announced, there was this document that was leaked. I don't know if you saw the document that was leaked.
I didn't see it.
That was saying that, oh yeah, that said the Wolverine comic was going to be by Saladin Ahmed and Greg Capullo.
Mhm.
Did you remember that leak, that said there's a lot of stuff that was like in the leaks. And one of the
Mm.
leaks was that the Storm book was going to be written by a black woman, and the series is going to center around Storm running for Congress. So I was not like, oh yeah, let me.
Poke fun.
So
Yeah.
so I was like, oh yeah, let me put it in the script, like, oh yeah. So saying it was rumored that she was going to run for Congress. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I guess with the
Wow.
leaks and the dialogue, a lot of people ran with it. I still see some people that, especially people that are, trying to like sabotage the book or something. I say like,
Yeah.
yeah, the story is about her running for Congress and stuff. And I'm like, okay, because
Yeah.
It's much
they don't know
bigger
that
than
they're
that.
making it. They don't know that they're making it so obvious that they're not reading the book, because everyone reading the book
Mm.
knows that she's not running for Congress, like in any of the issues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But politics might come up in the story, but it's going to be as a congresswoman. We're
Okay.
gradually
Okay.
seeing politics show up in one or two issues. We see it in issue one, of course, like giving the speech and all those things. We see her in issue two, the talk with the doctor. We see it in issue four, Negotiation on behalf of the mutants with Dr. Doom.
Mhm.
Um, we see it in even our role with and our discussions with Professor Xavier.
Mm,
We're going to see
Mhm.
it in our discussions with the FBI, as it moves on, So you're going to start seeing our political role take shape bit by bit. You as much as the series feels fast-paced,
Mhm.
because there can be a lot of action in some of the issues, like boom, 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 boom. The story is
mm-hmm,
actually very slow-paced.
mm,
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, you see that there are some things that you touch on and then later you come back to it. For example, in issue one, in this issue one, you see Eternal Storm mentioned,
mm-hmm.
but you don't see Eternal Storm come into fruition until the last page in issue 4
Yeah.
and in issue 5.
Hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, yeah.
Like I noticed
So,
that.
so that
I noticed
so I
that
see some
because
people
oh, you can go
some
ahead.
people say that, oh, I think so I see some people say that, oh, I think he has forgotten about eternity thing because in issue 7 there was eternity didn't show up. They're like, oh my God, he's forgotten about eternity and stuff. And I like the first time eternity showed up, we went 4 issues without mentioning eternity before it showed up again. Like, it's the same pacing, it's because what we're talking about now are things that happen in issue 1 as well that we've not talked about a lot. And those are the things like, oh, the things we're going to be revisiting now are things like, oh, the little mutant child that we saw in the power plants. That mutant child, we've not seen that mutant child in a while. The mutant child is going to be coming up in the issues in this arc. We're going to be knowing slightly more about the Storm Sanctuary. Um, so yeah, the after effects of things that happen in the X-Manhunt, Storm helping Charles Xavier, what are going to be the implications of it? So things like that are going to start coming up. What I try to use to explain to people is a show like Invincible. You know, you have the overall plot of Invincible of basically the Viltrumites are coming for an
Mhm.
invasion. So that's it.
Okay.
It's there, but it's not always there. There are
Mm-hmm.
some episodes where you're
Yeah.
just focused on, oh yeah, oh, these people are trying to steal the Declaration of Independence, and this is this. Oh yeah, he goes to an alternate dimension to do this. Oh, there's this guy, he's trying to train with his brother, and his mother is going through this. He's having issues with his dating life. And you might not even talk about the whole Vitromite thing, until maybe like 4 issues later, someone from, a Viltrumite just shows up and tries to kill his girl. And you're like, what? And it just comes as a shock. Like, we've forgotten about the whole Viltrumite invasion thing when Conquest shows up, for example.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not even thinking about it. And then Conquest just shows up and it's like, you have been warned, you have been this, you have been that. You're like, oh shit, that's true. That's true. So that's kind of structure. That's kind of structure you are going with, which I can understand in Invisible too. I saw some people say that, yeah, Conquest just shows up. It wasn't even built up to, and I'm like, no. And Nissa says it like after me, someone is going to come, and it's not this, even in the recaps, in so many things, you see it, but it's just so subtle that maybe some people don't notice. And it's not supposed to be loud so that when it does shows up,
Mhm.
it's surprising. It's this. If eternity thing was being mentioned in issue 2, 3, 4, it wouldn't be as shocking when Eternal Storm showed up in issue 4. Some
Mm-hmm.
people have even forgotten about, oh, there was an Eternal Storm thing. So when she dies in 4, spoiler alert, and she resurrects in 4, you're like, damn, yeah. And that's because you had almost forgotten about it. You're like, oh yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
so for example, now, even people are like, oh, eternity, eternity, eternity thing. But almost like, we've not even even talk about it. We've not even said anything about Oblivion so far. You don't even know what Oblivion
Hmm.
has been up to. You have not like I've not even mentioned it at all. So maybe when Oblivion makes a move or something, something, oh my God, why did we see this coming? So that's the fun. So and that's why we talk about how it's might get gradually complex, and that's because you start weaving the main cosmic plot, and then start having various subplots weave around it,
Mhm. Yeah.
our friendship, our relationship with our teammates, our political ambitions and different things, everything just weaves around, and just flow with it with each episode and with each issue, and it becomes fun and everything. So yeah, we're going to see plot points from previous issues come back up again, and they keep and they continue,
Yeah, and
like a
I
tapestry.
noticed that a lot when you in this run, because in this first issue I had questions when I was rereading and reading the first time that were answered later on down the line. But
Yeah,
one thing that was not answered yet. So if there's an answer coming, don't tell me. But in issue 2, she finds out she has radiation poison. She goes to the doctor and putting night nurse's hospital in here was chef's kiss. I love that part. But she goes to the doctor, and you take me on this roller coaster. Because the doctor first is extremely, I'm thinking he's racist towards mutants, he's racist towards this and that. Then he's like, no, not mutants, just the X-Men. Then Sora's like, why? And then he's like, the Avengers paid something for this hospital. The Steven put something in. Even Moon Knight gave us a cash deposit. The X-Men didn't do nothing. They just sat on their island. And so we're like, okay. And then we find out that this doctor is a mutant
is
who's
a
already
mutant.
dying.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? This roller coaster ride was crazy. I had to flip back and forth. Like, what? I think I read that scene 7 times. So, like, what in the world just happened? Because, like, you see her mad because she's screaming at this doctor, and then the lightning behind her, it looks like
Yeah.
a
Yes,
a
yes, yes.
like that attention to detail was crazy because she's mad, and then she's like, am I supposed to be mad at you because you're a mutant? But then she mentioned, but then he
At some
mutants.
point, people think maybe it's racism, and then
Yes.
it's like, no, it's not
No.
racism. I think maybe it's misogyny. I'm like, no, no,
No.
no, I don't want like, I just don't like the X-Men, man.
I don't know what's that. Why don't you like the X-Men? He's like, no, I'm a mutant too. I've been on Krakoa, so I just don't like the X-Men. And then he's like, all right, I'll treat you. And here's the treatment. And I sent the letter on to the thing. But like, what was his power? And who is that mystery doctor?
Well,
Um,
real quick, that was also one of my favorite parts, man. And like Jared said, it was a roller coaster. And what I loved is that you kind of centered or brought to you kind of like put a spotlight on like how I guess not selfish, but how like self-centered or self-focused the X-Men are. The X-Men are like, yo, we're taking care of us, and
Mhm.
so we're not even worried about things that are happening in the rest of the world most of the time. Like maybe some individuals, like Storm gets out there and does stuff, but the X-Men like really keep to themselves. And this is one time it came to bite them in the ass, and I love the spin that you put on that.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's it's in multiple folds.
Hmm.
We all know that the whole X-Men motto has been to save and protect the people that hate us, and things
Hmm.
like that. So it's always been about for mankind, despite the fact that mankind hates them and everything. So the
Hmm.
the Krakoan era was basically, we have all this power, you know, we have Omega level mutants, we have all this power, we have all these resources,
Hmm.
and we keep trying to use it to convince these people that we mean them no harm. We keep trying to convince these people that we can live together. We keep trying to use it to convince these people, keep using it to protect and save these people. And at the end of everything, they end up killing us, they end up dominating, they end up hurting us, they end up doing these terrible things to us. What if we use all this power and focus it on ourselves?
Hmm.
And use it to protect ourselves and use it to shield ourselves, all this intelligence, all this everything, use it for ourselves.
Hmm.
Would we survive better?
Mhm.
And that was basically the Krakoan experiment, you know. And I think as much as it's a worthy thing to do, it's going to also have its own repercussions, as you focus on yourself and, there are some things that are going to, you know, um, slip through the cracks, you know.
Hmm.
We see it in a lot of even international politics as well, you know, countries saying that, we're no longer doing aids into this, we're no longer sending aids, we're no longer helping this country, we're no longer doing this and stuff like that. You see that suddenly, maybe in UN votes and stuff like that, all of a sudden less countries are like supporting your causes. You know, you say that maybe sometimes during war times, less countries come over to be your allies. I start saying like, oh, so some of those things we're doing actually were the ones that are helping us in other aspects and things like that. And so there was that aspect. And there's also the aspect of the fact that all mutants were on Krakoa. And I thought,
Hmm.
I don't think everyone would like Krakoa. Not because Krakoa is not a
Hmm.
good place to be or anything. I just think
Mm-hmm.
even some mutants, just for their power sets, would not be okay there.
Yeah.
And I thought, for example, a mutant whose power is medical diagnosis, basically
Mm-hmm.
knowing what's wrong with you, you know,
Hmm.
would feel useless on
Mm-hmm.
Krakoa, where they had, these healing gardens, they had,
Hmm.
if the disease was too troublesome, just die and get resurrected, and all those things. So it's like the person would feel useless. So it's like I would not have any purpose here. So so it's not just that power set. There are different power sets that I might not be able to think of now that you would technically just feel like, why am I here? You know.
Hmm.
So it's that basically. There are lots of things that Krakoa was already providing. What if what Krakoa was already providing was your own power set? What if So that's I'm like, not every mutant is going to want to stay here. So mutants that don't stay on Krakoa, do they still get support from the island? Do they still get
Hmm.
support from the Krakoan government? I'm not sure it was explored that much in that era. That,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, I'm a mutant. I don't stay on Krakoa. I don't think I'll have anything to do in Krakoa. Do they still get all the benefits and all the support and everything of Krakoa? I'm not sure because they were trying to focus on themselves at that point. So there were all those things I wanted to explore. And also another thing I wanted to explore too was a lot of things that I also see in real life and in online spaces, where sometimes when you belong to a marginalized group, because you've faced so much criticisms, you face so much bigotry, you face so much everything, we now expect the worst from everybody we meet. And
Hmm.
sometimes it hinders us from having good relationship and friendships with other people, because you're already so protective, you're already expecting the worst, you know.
Hmm.
Um, when you faced racists so often, so many times, even when you meet someone that's just having a bad day, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, another effing racist,
Mm-hmm.
and that person might just be having a bad day, you
Yeah.
know. So I also wanted to explore some of that. Storm was just coming from an era in X-Men history where they were just facing some of the worst attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Krakoa was destroyed, the humans were basically vowed to them, you just saw everything they experienced with Orchis, they were able to manipulate the media, everything. They're just coming from that space, you know. It's easy to even because there were only mutants on Krakoa, there were only mutants in Araku. There were few humans, very, very few, almost negligible. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's easy to expect that if you are meeting a human, they would almost be bigoted towards you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you see it a lot of times where when X-Men meet Avengers, X-Men don't usually look at Avengers in a very positive light. You know, they almost talk to them like, yeah, where were you when this was this? When
Yep.
were you when this was? I'm like, dude,
Mm-hmm.
the Avengers were busy saving the freaking planet. So, you know, so you're like, yeah, yeah, where were you when it was all kisses? Yeah, going through their own hellish stuff too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's because you've seen so much hate from humans that you're like, you expect it from everybody,
Hmm.
including people like Avengers that are actually allies, and you expect it. So I'm also writing the story from, Storm almost expecting it, someone saying that I don't want to treat you, and she automatically leans towards, oh, then you must be a bigot. And it's like, his own problem is another thing,
Mm,
and it's
Yeah.
things like that. And in that same story, we see her experience bigotry from the ship captain, So it's
yes.
like, oh yeah, I'm
Yes.
already used to it. So she's coming with that energy to someone else. And it happens to a lot of us in our day-to-day lives where, we experience something somewhere and then we bring that energy into another situation entirely. You know, um, someone is nasty to us in school, so we
Hmm.
Hmm.
take it to the workplace as well, even though the workplace might not be, that bad, and so different things like that. So it's just, I know you shouldn't let your guard down so that you don't get exploited and stuff, but you should also be careful so that you don't also, have your knives and weapons out too quickly when
Hmm.
something could have been sorted out with just an easy discussion. So it's also something I wanted to like
Yeah.
explore too. And I don't want to teach people or be preachy about it. I just wanted to just show it, how,
Yeah.
some conversations could go differently if you just don't assume what the person means and,
Yeah. And
intends.
that part on the ship was very powerful because at first she was being offered some water. And then the ship captain was like, we would rather
Hmm.
not explode today. So you can go ahead and exit even after you saved us. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But she goes see the doctor. Did she says who tells her she has 6 hours to live or something like that. She flies to um I forgot where she flew. She flew to Africa or sorry. Well, she,
80.
yeah, she flew to Haiti, of course.
Hey.
Duh, Haiti, Dr. Voodoo, to see Dr. Voodoo, who smacks her with a whole whale in the sky.
Cosmic
I was like, so at first I was like, why is Dr. Voodoo smacking her with a whale in the sky? What the bit? Is it because somebody was over his house and
No, she had, I think at that time, I'm not sure if the caption was there. I think she only had like 10 minutes to live or
uh-huh.
so. So she
Mm.
might fly over him or anything. So it's to quickly get her to descend to him immediately.
Ah,
That's
Ah.
okay.
one.
Yeah, that
And
did come out of
and
nowhere. I was like,
two,
what?
Yeah.
that's one. And two, it was also to teach her a lesson about our magical heritage,
Mm.
Yeah.
because voodoo is also upset, like, dude, you come from this, long line of like powerful sorceress and sorcerers, you have
Mm-hmm.
the blood of Agamotto, you are the direct descendant of Ashake, you are all these things. Like every one of us would wish we had someone like we had your bloodline, if Doctor
Mhm.
Strange or myself or anyone had this ancestry that you had, oh my God, the things we would do, and here you are, you don't even know how to.
uh,
Oh,
you're
you
muted.
went
You're
mute.
muted. You went mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Okay, so, oh, I think it was my internet connection. Sorry.
Sorry.
So so it was about, okay, that you have all this heritage, all this magical heritage, all this, if any of all these mystics in the Marvel universe add your type of ancestry, oh my God, the type of magic
Mm-hmm.
they will be doing, the kind of, if they add all these links to all these things, all the things they'll be doing, it will be crazy stuff. But here you are, you can't even cast a single defense spell. So so Voodoo
Yeah.
was also trying to teach her a lesson there, like, look at you, you can't even defend yourself against this simple spell. You can't heal yourself from this simple disease, and things like that. And we also see that scene, like you said, how this thing comes up. You see that scene come up again in issue 7 of
Yeah.
Storm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All that comes up later, even with Dr. Doom. And we hear that uh, Jericho Drum gives her
Mm-hmm.
7 days to live. He possessed her with a demon. And he says the demon's not going to hurt you. And he could
Yes.
have done a whole bunch of other stuff, but he said no powers for 7 days. So she flies to the Louisiana X-Men and spends some time with them. And on the 6th day, child, the scenes heard around the world. What in the world, having sex with Wolverine?
But he told us before, he
He
told us
told us
last time we had him on
before.
the show that it
He,
was going to be a sex scene.
he told us it was going to be a sex scene, but I wasn't expecting Wolverine because I was thinking, okay, she's going out with Craig, so maybe Craig,
Hmm.
but Wolverine?
What happened to Craig? Is Storm cheating on Craig?
What
Okay,
do you think?
okay, there's some things that happens backstage that some things get missing. Um, so I think, for example, some people are like, why didn't she go to Craig? Why did she fly to Louisiana?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, in that issue, the issue is missing a page. We had to remove a page from that story for legal reasons. So that's why it wasn't
Mm.
that obvious and stuff. And some little things were missing. But if you look at this, if you look at some of the arts well, is Dr. Voodoo after speaking with Storm, then we see this spread where she and Voodoo comes out of this like pot and stuff.
Mhm.
There's supposed to be a caption there that says Louisiana. And it's because Voodoo has a place in Haiti and
Mm-hmm.
also has a place in New Orleans. As you
Mm-hmm.
know, is the
The the
principal of
the Strange Academy.
Strange Academy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in issue 2, you see when the doctor was talking about Dr. Voodoo, Dr. Day, he said, oh, you can meet him in one of his 2 residential homes
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. Yeah. So he has a place in Haiti. So they teleported from Haiti to New Orleans with Dr. Voodoo's help. So Storm couldn't fly. So that's one of the
Mm-hmm.
reasons why she was stuck in New Orleans. And she was like, okay, let me just hang out with my friends that are also in New
Mm-hmm.
Orleans. So it's
Mhm.
not, so I think a lot of Black Panther fans are like, why did she choose New Orleans over Wakanda or something? And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, technically she didn't choose it. It's like, she
Yeah.
was basically dropped off by
Voodoo.
this. And also, when I was writing that issue, Resurrection of Magneto was still coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know the state of Craig. I didn't, because
Ah,
in a lot of,
okay.
Mm.
so when eras are ending, sometimes every relationship is like broken apart. Some people are killed, and different things. So I didn't know what was going to happen. So yeah. So I'm still hoping that in future issues I'm going to attend to the whole Craig thing, like what happened between her and Craig, because I'm still trying to wait for the dusk to settle, because
Mm-hmm.
I think there are some series I still cooking with Araco, because I can't
Yeah.
touch on the Craig thing until I can touch on what happened in Araco. So I need to still know
Mm.
so I still need to know what the X office is planning with Araco and planning with yeah. So then I can know how to handle the Araco and the Craig thing, like what happened between Storm and the Araki, and so
Mhm.
so there's that. So and that's when the so that's why I decided to explore her and Wolverine. And the reason why I explored her with Wolverine is she has history with Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
They, Storm debuted in Giant X-Men 1. Wolverine was in that same comic,
Mm-hmm.
so it's way back.
Yeah.
Uh,
And they had the best
the
relationship.
alternate,
I like their relationship the
yeah,
best.
yeah, and one thing I also noted is that of all our relationships, all the guys eventually
Mm-hmm.
ended things or broke up with her.
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine is the only one that
Hmm.
didn't break up with her.
Yeah.
He just died.
Yeah.
So I thought there are some, unresolved feelings there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
there's that. Um then I just like how they express themselves when they're together. Wolverine is this hard around the edges kind of guy. But anytime he's with Storm, he becomes like a puppy dog.
Hmm.
He's not this ruthless killer anymore. You
Yeah.
know. Um, so
I mean, he was
so
whipping
yeah.
her butt like a Rufus Kidder for 6 days. I mean, come on, Wolverine. She ain't got no powers right
That was
now.
just foreplay. That was just foreplay, Jared.
6 days of foreplay. Okay, okay, okay. But
So
then,
Wow.
yeah. So
but
yeah, it was nice to explore.
yeah, and that makes a lot of sense now that you say it like that. But then the best character that I have seen in Marvel debuting year since the century in 2000. The best character ever. This sassy bird from Doom. I love the sassy
The
bird
sassy bird from
from
I
Doom.
thought you were about to say Doom.
No, I'm still on issue
No.
3. This sassy bird needs to be in everything. Storm needs to ride the sassy bird. He need to
Yeah.
But
talk.
that's not what the bird want.
I,
The bird said, I
Yeah.
exactly.
don't want to give rides. The bird said, I
exactly.
don't give rides. What are you talking
What are you
Exactly.
talking about?
I love the sassy bird. Like, how do you come up with this? He sends a giant bird that's sassy to Storm. And Storm can't say no to Doom, even powerless. She goes to get a dress from Rogue and says, well, just give me a couple of knives. I'll see what I can do. And then she gets on this sassy
Hmm.
bird, who is the best new character since the century. And I'm like, what is going on? How did you come up with the sassy bird?
Okay. Uh, Number one, I like to believe I have a lot of interests.
Hmm.
And I always like to lean a lot into the visuals of the story. Um, and the razor bill bird is one of the birds that I kind of gravitated towards. I saw it was also trending on Twitter a while back. I think Wisdom Kaye made some made some outfits inspired by the bird recently as well. So
Mm.
I really like the bird, before the whole election thing and the Elon Musk thing, it was always called like the Tesla of birds because of its sleek design and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So I was like, yeah, I'm going to have the bird in this comic. So I was like, I want the bird to make an appearance. So I was like, yeah. So I've been thinking, how do I get Storm to Latveria,
Mhm.
I don't want to do the boring thing of, let's get a jet, let's Wolverine will call an old friend, let me get,
Yeah.
Yeah, they
let
they have blackbirds sitting around like in a parking lot somewhere because they always
yeah,
explode, so they can find
yeah,
one.
so rather than a jet named the Blackbird, what about an actual blackbird? So let's lean into the fantasy thing and everything. So yeah, so that's where it came in, and it just flowed naturally, I tried to put some humor in the story as well in occasion because um Storm has jokes, but not currently in this arc because she's going through a lot.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
That's why I'm bringing Margot in to start bringing in jokes later on as we go. So like, yeah, let's just bring in some nice fun flavor and some discussions there. So it was really fun to write, and I'm
Mm.
happy people liked it. I didn't even know people would like it. I thought people would be like, ah, this is too wacky and crazy. Are you stupid? Why are you doing this? But I'm happy people liked it.
The best new
Wow.
character that I've ever
That was
read.
yeah, that was hilarious.
And it
Yeah,
was good that we had this hilarity right before issue 4 because um in this issue we get a lot of flashbacks between Storm and her father.
yeah,
We see
Mhm.
Storm eating the okra soup. And at first she doesn't like it, it's slimy. And then she tastes it. She's like, oh, I may like this. And we also get another meeting with Storm and her father, which is the most, this
Yeah,
meeting was
yeah,
very great for me.
emotional.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
emotional. And it's just 2 pages, no, 3 pages, but it was extremely emotional for me. Because I just saw my grandmother and me talking to my grandmother.
Hmm.
Like it was very emotional. So how did you uh tap into um this meeting with them two?
Um, I, I always think children and the opposite gendered parents always have a very special bond,
Hmm.
sons and their mothers and fathers and their daughters.
Mhm.
I think they always have this very weird bond that always fascinates me. I always try to explore in my work. I think in I Am Iron Man 2, I also explored the really explored relationship of Tony Stark and his mother. Usually see a lot of stories about Tony Stark and the father, how it's problematic and everything. But I was like, yeah, let's do like the story of Tony Stark and the mother. So people try to tell stories about same gender parent and child, but I think that I don't know, it's just personal. I think the different gender parents kind of work more for me. I think it feels more precious of some
Yeah.
sort. Um, so there's that, my parents are getting old now, so I'm always constantly reminded of their mortality. So
Mhm.
there's feeding from that, and so yeah, it was a lot of my relationship with my parents and
Hmm.
just that fascination with different gendered child to parents. And in my family, food is more than food.
Mm.
Food is, it's like a communion. It's not just something you use to sustain yourself. It's something you bond over. R- recipes recipes are intimate. So
Hmm.
it's when you're taught how to cook something, when you taste something, you're like, oh, this is how dad used to make it.
Yeah.
It's just very, very different.
Yeah.
It's recipes are like your identity, like your signature. So
Yeah.
it's almost all of us have like our own unique recipes that we also give each other. And so even if I cook something, I'm like, oh yeah, this is my sister's way of cooking fried rice, and things like that. So
Mm.
I was also leaning into, stuff like that. Also trying to use the food to kind of like speak on heritage, especially our Black American heritage.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of times we over focus on African heritage as well, but we also want to talk about Black American heritage, So and I wanted to I wanted a gumbo dish, and
Mm.
um and as an African, when you hear about gumbo, or especially me myself, I was like, man, okra and rice. That sounds weird.
Yeah.
And then,
I,
so oddly enough, I found out that I think there are some Kenyan dishes that actually have okra and rice as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that's seen a lot of people related to it being like, yeah, when I was a kid, so I was like, okra and rice, it sounds crazy, But yeah, but it works,
Yeah.
And so
mhm.
so it was nice to see that funny, situation, and then see how painful it is where this, how it started, especially for people that still have their parents. You know how that thing started, how you used to talk about food and how it's graduated to talking about maybe your job or your kids or grandkids or so many things. But you now see that situation that Storm never graduated from this level
Yeah.
because she lost them there. And then you
Yeah.
have that
Mhm.
feeling of loss, and then maybe you appreciate what you have. And for people that also lost them there, and you kind of relate, and so it's that double scene that makes it work. It's if you just add the closing scene without that first scene, it doesn't
Hmm.
work. You have to know what she had to be able to
Mm,
understand what she lost. So yeah,
absolutely.
so it was a beautiful scene to
It was a
to write.
beautiful scene. But you know what else was beautiful? Storm in lingerie. Storm in
Mm.
lingerie with those
Yeah,
two
I remember
I
you
was
daggers.
saying you
surprised.
had outfits
I was
before.
surprised Babu allowed me. I was surprised Babu allowed me. I was like, oh man, Tom Boombox are the goats. Because
Nice.
in the script, I had like beautiful black women in like lingerie say that, Lucas is the reference, this is the kind of stuff I want, and
Yes.
stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay, okay, okay. So I was even thinking maybe it was going to get a lot of backlash, but before I knew it, the panel was going viral, 1.5 million likes. I was like, yes.
And then we see Storm in lingerie. And then the very
Mhm.
next scene, we see this beautiful, amazing picture of Storm in this green dress
Green.
that is very
Look,
much rose colors. Just talk about that. How much of that was you? How much of that was
Lucas,
Lucas? Yeah.
Lucas Wernick is, oh my God, is 100% dedicated in this story. Like, he's
Hmm.
100%. This was the fifth dress he designed.
Oh, let me see the mom.
The fifth, the fifth one he designed. I might ask him, maybe we might publish all of them one day or something, just put it online or something. And they were all extremely stunning.
Mhm.
Even this fifth one, they were like three variations, and then we picked this one. So it was like just banger after banger, and it was trying to just have something that was going to be very stunning, was something that was going to be beautiful, something that was going to be memorable. You know, kept trying different things, and before we settled on this one, and the reason why we settled on this one was that we wanted something that looked good on Storm, but also felt like something Rogue would
Yes.
wear.
And it does.
You
Mhm.
It
know,
does.
yeah. For example, the puffy shoulders
Hmm.
feels like something Rogue would wear,
Yeah.
even though Storm would
Mhm.
not naturally wear something that has puffy shoulders.
Mm-mm.
So so things like that. So yeah, so that's so it was just real stuff. All I did was just put like reference images for like beautiful green dresses. What the design looks nothing like what was in my references. They looked so much better. So yeah, it killed it. It killed it. It killed it.
So finally in issue 3, Storm was eating this dessert. And as control
Issue
as
four.
Storm has to be with her powers, so she doesn't go hayward like when she flew out of space when Wolverine died, she makes a sound knowing how Doom is. How did Storm lose control right? Because this is her first dinner with Doom. So how did Storm lose control right there? Was just she just forgetting Doom at that moment? Like what was going on?
Um, my my goal for the entire dinner with Doom is also a little allegory tale on unintended racism. And
Okay.
Mm.
it's when Doom was trying to like basically, get on Storm's good side.
Uh-huh.
It
Mhm.
was working when he served the gumbo dish. And the
Mhm.
reason why it worked was because he did his research about
Mhm.
what would Storm like.
Uh-huh.
But when it was time for the dessert, it was like, oh, give me something a mutant would like.
Yeah, he says
Mhm.
that I tailored this dish for mutant tongues. Yes.
Yeah, so it became a generic thing. So
Mm-hmm.
it's imagine your white friend, having you
Mm.
over for dinner, and rather than asking what you would like, and it's like, oh yeah, what do black people like?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
bet they all like watermelons and stuff. And it's like, technically, if you serve me chicken, I would like it because I like chicken. But if you serve me watermelon, but if you serve me watermelon,
I'm
I'm
also like
sorry.
it.
No, I wouldn't like it. I really don't like watermelon at all.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, fair.
Um, yeah, so you would miss the mark there. And that's because you generalize rather than ask me, you know.
Hmm.
Um, so it's not harmful racism. It's just the unintentional one, you know.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's things like that. Like it maybe Doom would have been able to convince Storm on his side if he didn't generalize with the desert. If he
Mm.
also, tried to find out what kind of sweets Storm liked,
Mm.
rather than generalize like, oh yeah, what would mutants like and stuff like that. So um and it also didn't also work. So that was on that level, but also on the plot level, it didn't work
Hmm.
because that mutant gene was all messed up because it was currently linked with the spirit of Egun that was still healing her, and they had the deal of do not use your mutant abilities and all those stuff. So anything trying to trigger a mutant specific palette and stuff would not hit the mark. So to Storm, it probably just
Ah.
tasted all weird, like what's this, So yeah,
Hmm.
Your mind is
uh,
so like I would have never thought racism in that moment. Your mind is so crazy. But after she says no to the dessert, Doom immediately starts dooming, uh, goes to kill the chef. She activates her power. The demon comes out and kills her. There's a whole battle scene where Eternity comes out at the end of issue 3. Beginning of issue 4, she kills the demon and eats him. And then we get this dimension of manifestation. Now, let me tell you something about yourself. you, you, because not since Jack Kirby, not since Stan Lee, not since John and Hickman have I seen such an insight as to the tribunal, oblivion, and
Hmm.
eternity and what is going on right there. Like you said that you were putting stuff in there, and Mar was like, okay, whatever. This stuff, like, they had to be like, hold up, wait a minute, let's talk about it. Because this is stuff that you are affecting the entirety of the Marvel. You mentioned the one above all sitting in the House of Ideas and you showed it. So I'm like, did they say like how like what? Because okay, look, I don't even understand the primordials because that's a Jack Kirby thing, and I rarely see them. I have seen them
Hmm.
in your comic book, and I think that's all I've seen them in 2004 and 2005 so far. Because nobody talks
2024,
about them.
2025.
Yeah, 2025. Because nobody talks about them. Nobody. So I'm like, I
Hmm.
don't know about them. I want to know about them, but I'm not going back in time to read about them. So I was lost during this whole conversation. Can you just explain to me what this whole conversation is, what's going on, like what's happening? Because that's wild
yeah,
that they would let you do that in a storm comic book.
yeah. I think some are also like from Jim Starlin and stuff like that. Um, I think when I submitted the script for that issue 5, Tom Brevoort was like, ah, this is feeling very Jonathan Hickman-y. Okay, it's one issue. Let's risk it. I think you might lose some readers, but let's risk it. And I was like, okay, I believe in it. I think we should
Yeah.
risk it. And for some people they're like, yeah, kind of flew over my head. And for some people they're like, yes,
I know
do this.
the real comic book fans. Laura's like, yes, that's not me
Yes.
though. But
So
So,
so basically,
oh yeah. Yeah.
just to simplify things, it's just I hope I'm simplifying it here. It's just we have the universe,
mhm,
where we all live in, and the entities controlling it is eternity and infinity,
Hmm.
twins, you
mhm,
know. And outside our universe, we have the oblivion void, controlled by oblivion and death.
Hmm.
And yeah, if you also know the science about our universe, is that our universe is always expanding, you
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
and so if our universe is always expanding, but if you think about it, what is it expanding into? You know, So I'm thinking, oh, it must be expanding into the oblivion void,
Mm-hmm.
which also
Mm.
sounds kind of cool, like saying that, oh, yeah, expanding into oblivion. Because some people also hypothesize that if the universe is going to end, it will just keep expanding till like its death, almost like you're expanding into
Mm-hmm.
oblivion. So I'm seeing this oblivion as this space that we're expanding into. So, but if the universe is always expanding, that also means the oblivion is getting smaller because the
Mm-hmm.
universe is
Mm-hmm.
taking more and more space.
Mm.
So the two entities in the oblivion void are like, this place is getting too small for us. So, and just like, little, just like, people in like war-torn countries, or people that suffer from economic crisis and stuff, they're like, okay, you know what? Um, what if I send you into this other place? So Oblivion
Mm-hmm.
tells is to death, like, okay, what if I send death into the universe? Almost like,
Mm.
what if you become, what if you immigrate into the universe?
Mm-hmm.
And eternity being like the border control is like, nope, no way we're allowing death into the universe. Death
Okay.
literally, ends things, no way
Uh-huh.
we're
Yeah.
allowing death into our universe, and oblivion is like bet, that kind of thing, like, yeah, you are going to take death, you know, and then they go to the living tribunal
Mm-hmm.
to settle that dispute. So they go to battle for that, and oblivion wins. So death now moves into the
Into
universe.
okay.
And
And
that's my own little explanation. This is not in the story, it is just my head canon.
uh-huh.
Why, if you see some beings that are very, very old in the Marvel universe, they live for very long, a lot of the gods, a lot of all the stuff that are the older races are basically immortal, while a lot of the newer races are not. It's probably because the newer races came after death was introduced into the universe.
Mm, okay.
Um,
Okay. All right.
okay.
So, so
So
yeah,
so
so
what the battle is now is Oblivion missing his sister and trying to get Oblivion out of
Trying
eternity.
to get
wants
death.
death back. Yeah,
Okay.
wants death
Okay.
back.
Okay.
So and eternity is like, oh yeah, you can have death back. But it's like, I can't have death back because we still have the issue of there's still no space in my country, there's still no space in my realm.
Mm-hmm.
There's still no
Mm-hmm.
space. So you know what? I think enough of all this trying to manage my space. I want the universe gone so that I can have all the
Mm-hmm.
space.
Okay. Okay.
And
Why is there a conflict between the primordials and Storm? This is blowing my mind. It's so amazing. Oh my God.
and and I remember reading this part toward the end of, I think, issue 4, issue 5. And I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, next issue, I'm finna see Storm fight Oblivion. Where's my Storm Oblivion fight, Murewa?
You get that's what I'm saying. Like, you get it's well, like spacing things out. It's like
Yeah,
Mark versus the Vitromite. It's going to take you
yeah.
some time. It'll take you some
Uh,
time. So yeah.
I,
So so
I'm
yeah.
so
So and
excited for
Me too.
it.
Me too.
yeah, and if you also understand, like, for Storm, it's a very strange fight for her to
Hmm.
to play into, because Storm has been an immigrant a lot of times in her life. She's been an immigrant in Egypt, you know,
Hmm.
and when she moved to Kenya, even though she's from Kenya, she's now this person that came from Egypt with an Egyptian accent that is
Mhm.
in Kenya, you
Mm.
know. And when Charles Xavier comes to pick her up, to go to the US, even though her father is American, now she's this person that has a Kenyan accent in America, you know, almost like an immigrant again, And then the old Krakoa thing happens, and what do they do again? They say, oh yeah, go to Araco, you know, where you're also the immigrant
Yeah.
again, So
Yeah.
this person would understand death and oblivion's
Yeah. Better than most.
side of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah.
So Storm is possessed by eternity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Storm says by eternity, she fights Doom, she decimates the Doom soldiers, and she said, "Your little Doom bout doesn't confuse me." She goes to Doom while he's eating, and Doom is just like not even looking at her, saying, "Oh, Storm will let you hit me. She's already gonna assert control, so this isn't gonna happen right now. You can't kill me." So Storm goes on about her business into the next issue, where we see my arch nemesis, Professor Dangone Xavier. Now, this whole scene with her cooking, because last we saw her and Professor Xavier, they're fighting. They're having a verbal spat. But this scene with her cooking, if I were gonna have my morals with mutants and mutant kind, and Storm does have these morals. She went against Wakanda to get that sword for the mutants. So
Hmm.
we know she loves mutants above all else. And she tells Scott later that if it was you, I would do the same thing. But the
Hmm.
fact that she is cooking with her, and she's making it so calm, because cooking is calm for me. It's a calming thing for me, and my mind is on cooking. And you
Hmm.
show the avocado and the cucumbers and the onions, like that was so incredibly intelligent to have her cooking him a meal while she is having this conversation with him. Because last I saw they were fighting. So even though I hate Professor Xavier with a passion, this with her cooking, this made it relatable to me. I could I I could talk to somebody I didn't like if I had those morals and be like, um, okay, we can have a discussion now. So yeah, that whole
I was a
scene
little
was amazing.
Yeah, I was a little worried about that scene though. I liked it. Um, every storytelling sense I had was like, yeah, do it, because you see it a lot in manga and a lot of stuff. I was even saying like, yeah, I want the food details, and everything, But I was like, man, I know a lot of comic book readers are always like, why are you wasting pages showing me food and all this nonsense, like, and this is an event, X Manons, like, oh, people are going to be like, what the hell? I pay good money to read an event and you're showing me onions and, jalapeno peppers,
Mm-mm.
and no one person complained. I was like,
Mm-mm.
oh my God, nice, So I was
Mm-mm.
so happy. I was so happy about that. That it worked.
Yes, it worked intensely well because that's the only way I could see Storm and them talking. Then Storm and the Professor fight against the whole X-Men, and she invokes her new powers. She feeds Maggot the demon she ate earlier, which is crazy, and to make the
Crazy.
Omega Maggot. So that's coming up. And she
Hmm.
destroys the X-Men, and part of it was in the X-Men comic book, but we're not going to talk about that now. If you want to read it. Then in the next book, we get into more cosmic stuff straight off the bat. Silver
Hmm.
Surfer is here, and Galactus is here. Oblivion comes. Then the next page is it's just a giant snake with the super soldier serum. Like, how do you do that? How do you go from these amazing cosmic battles to like these street level problems that the scientists like Reed, who is it? Reed, T'Challa, and Iron Man are looking for Storm to solve. Like, how do you go from here is this ultimate cosmic entity to this little itty bitty super soldier problem?
Um, it's creativity through limitations. I think when I was writing the first issue of Storm, Storm was supposed to like have this big battle with the Avengers and the X-Men, just to show that
Hmm.
she's part of both teams. So it's going to be a mission that will have the Avengers and the X-Men on Ego, the Living Planet. That was the
Mm.
first issue. And and while we're doing that, some stuff will happen on Earth, and just balancing the story and And by the end of the issue, we see her in a new base, and stuff. And
Hmm.
that would be the end of the issue. Yeah. So it was good to be this nice stuff. And some people it's like it's not all about the old space stuff. He doesn't want to see Storm like going to space a lot and stuff. And at that time, I didn't know there was going to be a Phoenix book like that. So I can see
Mm.
why he said that it would have been coming off too similar to the Phoenix book, which she's in space. She's always in space.
Hmm.
So the story now became, okay, if I can't take Storm into space, then I have to bring the space into Storm. So,
Mm.
Mhm.
so the way I do the story basically now is, it's almost like, all those like Lovecraftian stories, where there's this mundane stuff happening, but then these cosmic entities just show up,
Mm.
and or you see the effects of these cosmic beings having an argument, and then the ripple effects reaches us here on Earth. So that's the kind of story we're now going with. So it's now, rather than it being a space opera, is now a cosmic thriller story.
Mm.
So
Mm.
so you get so that little scene that you saw in the opening scene of issue 7 of the Black Winter, Galactus, and Silver Surfer suit, you know, you're going to start seeing that ripple effects into this story gradually, that something that happened in the future, in the far reaches of space, the ripple effects will reach us here. So
Mhm.
those are the kind of things we're going to be seeing. So rather than storming space, having space adventures, it's terrible things in space having effects on Earth and on our
Mhm.
life.
Yeah. Okay, so we see Iron Man come into her home uninvited, by the way. You love you some Iron Man, don't you?
Yeah.
And he tells her about this thing, and we see uh Maggots, who is displaying some extra endurance, some extra powers. What's going on with him since he ingested the mutant? And they are fighting this giant snake when all of a sudden the snake is hit with lightning, not from Storm. Where did it come from? All of these lightning and thunder gods descend from the heavens and they begin attacking Storm. This is the most. I, I mean, what in the world? You have lightning gods from all over the globe: Japanese,
Mhm.
African, Aztec, all of these lightning gods. And it ends with Storm using, remembering what Dr. Voodoo said and saying her first spell in the 616. Is that the first one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that was one of my favorite parts too. Shango showing up, Susano, Chalk. Man, I was like, ooh, another one. Ooh, another
Mm-hmm.
one.
Another one.
Mm-hmm.
And they all look so cool. The designs were so cool.
They are cool.
They are.
They are cool. So
And
she's. Uh,
and that
oh, go
that, that was
ahead.
the time that even Tom Brevoort was like, put more dialogue here. So that was so I
Mm-hmm.
just did the bare minimum, just put a little narration of like Chak, Mamarangan, so you know who they are. I'm like, man, so I was scripting it like I just want it to be like you're watching like anime on your screen,
Yes.
Hmm.
those brutal fights where people just stop talking,
Mm.
Yeah.
because it's so crazy that people just stop talking, because the fight is just so dangerous. So it's like, so it's like, you see Susano, like moving, like boom, 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 boom,
Yes.
and it's just,
Hmm.
and it's about to stab, Omega Maggot. But you don't see any dialogue like, I'm going to stab you. No, nothing. You just see the sword and then Storm blows him away. And
Yes.
it's just all nice action till
Yes.
eventually Chak shows up and smashes her to the ground. And the SFX is like God slam,
Yes.
boom. And it's like,
Yeah.
so yeah, that was just it. Like, no dialogue, just brutal action, just
Yes.
breeze through it. feel the tension the way Storm feels it, like to Storm, to these gods are not saying anything, they're just jumping and so that's
Mhm.
how you should feel too.
Yeah.
So
Just
no
getting jumped.
dialogue, nothing, no line about this I am this from this, nothing, just boom, 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 boom. So
Yeah.
that was just the goal. And I'm happy people like they felt that tension and everything. So it was just very, very nice. And then in the last page, Thor shows up and it's like, I must say the nay. And it's like,
Yes. Yes.
yes.
That page
Yeah.
was crazy. But Chalk actually sees her running away, says shameful, catches her by her hair. And
Yo,
Yeah.
that was the most disrespectful thing.
no, no, no.
Yo,
Yes.
pulling her by her hair and
Yes.
slamming her. I was
I
like,
saw
yo,
that
the
pattern
First of all,
everywhere.
disrespect.
a black woman. You don't touch a white woman's hair. Secondly, Storm reaches for this sword, and then we see the. I mean, this has to be like Sentry cutting Ares in half. She rips her hair. She cuts her own hair. Her hair, like unless she's doing a mohawk, she cut her hair in battle. Now, in the comments, you said I was thinking about having her cut her arm off. That would have been better for me. That would have been better for me. A one arm Storm, but cutting her hair, that's just, she looks beautiful, but just imagine, like when
Mhm.
she went back to Dr. Voodoo and she was cured of everything, she even said, "Oh, even my hair looks more
My
luxurious."
hair is so lush. She was so happy.
Exactly.
She was
Mhm.
smiling.
And then she
So
cuts
she
it.
loves her hair. Like when she was coughing blood, when she was doing all those stuff, she didn't go to the doctor. She didn't do anything. But when she went to the bathroom and her hair started falling off, she was, oh man, I'm going to the
Yes.
doctor now. So
Yes.
so
Like,
even so so even if you didn't know, even if you don't know the continuity of like, oh, Storm in the past, but even in this series, Storm likes her hair. You've
Mhm.
been seeing that in every issue, she will style it a little differently. When she was
Yes.
fighting Wolverine, every single issue she styles it differently. Every single day. Sorry, day one, day two. She styles it
yeah,
differently. She does everything in her dinner scene. She styles it another way. When she's feeding animals, she does this. She spends this huge amount of attention on her hair, and you've seen that, oh yeah, like even if she's bleeding or something, she might not go to the doctor, but if she loses her hair, she's going there, when she's
Mhm.
talking with, Dr. Voodoo, they're having this back and forth, almost like this clash of ideology. But Storm smiles when it's like, well, after all, you did help me with my hair, so I'm cool with you, you know. So,
Yes.
but now she has to lose that hair, and it's
Yes.
like, oh man. So you just know that when
Yeah.
next she sees those gods, they're
Yes.
going to catch it.
yeah,
They're going to catch
They're
it.
gonna catch the full
yeah.
fury of Storm. And then, as you said, at the end page is Door coming down and saying, "I say thee nay." Where are we go? Usually I can tell where a story is going, Murewa. We have been to outer space, we have been to a swamp, we have been to New Orleans, like we have been to San Francisco, we have been all over the place. I don't like, there's no main, I guess Oblivion is the main protagonist, but Oblivion and Storm haven't even met yet. They don't even know they're fighting each other at this point.
Mhm.
And I'm like, where can this go? We've heard the FBI is coming into stuff. What are they doing? We got bigger things to worry about. She's fighting gods and about to fight one of the primordials. Like, the FBI is they're not even a thing. And then we have Omega Maggot. What's that gonna be? Oh my goodness. So where is this story gonna go? Well, if you could tell us, I don't want you to tell us. One thing I will want to request. One thing I do want to request, since we're adding in all these people, we added in Omega Maggot, we added in Frenzy, we heard Lucas Bishop. I hope that this thing with her grandmother finally gets resolved. Well, his grandmother finally gets resolved in the future of being Storm, because it was ambiguous in the comic book. But there's one mutant I want to see. Her name is Astrid Bloom. She is the only telepath that is black in comics. And I think she's the only one in Marvel who's Well, besides Monet, she's the only one who is purely a telepath, and she helped Emma define her powers. And she's only been seen in the Emma comic book. I don't even know if she was on Krakoa, but I really want to see her again. I'm
We're
not
going to
telling you what to.
see.
I'm not telling you what to do, but I really would like to see her again.
We'll see. We're going to see more characters in the future. Um, in this next issue, you're going to see Manifold and Gateway. So,
Ooh, Manifold is one of my favorites.
and they're not, and it's not a visit. They're here to stay, just like Omega Maggots.
Mm.
Um,
Okay.
so yeah, Lucas Bishop is coming in issue 10 and 11. Um, yeah. So and Shango is there. You know, yeah, that's all I can say. Some of the other issues, yeah. So it's going to be a fun one. We're going to have more appearance of cool
Yeah.
characters, especially characters of color and stuff. So yeah,
Yes.
it's it's
I
it's
love that
fun.
how you're um uh putting a spotlight on characters of color as well. Cause this is a
Yeah.
fever dream for me. Like I really be having headaches after reading your book. Cause I'm like, how is he doing this? And not only is he going all the way around the multiverse with this comic book. He is making it easy to read, fun to read, exciting to read in like 22 pages. And like so much stuff happens. And it doesn't seem, it seems like a 53-page book that is just in like 22 pages. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. So kudos, kudos, kudos. Uh, but we are over our time by like a lot. Like we can even do this fun little thing that we had planned, but oh my God.
I still have time, so don't worry. Yeah,
Oh,
cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Rich, okay. Okay. Well, uh, have you ever played a game called Dungeons and Dragons?
Um, Never. It wasn't a thing
Ooh.
in here.
Ooh,
Mm.
well, here we have a game called Dungeons and Dragons. It's a role-playing game, a tabletop role-playing game, where you can really um pick your adventure, choose your adventure, and it's all in the mind, in the imagination. You can and it has a variety of races, has a variety of classes like sorcerer, warrior, rogue, and it's just really fun. So what we decided we would do is take you on a little D&D trip that will really make you kind of happy, hopefully, and tell you and like show you a little bit about D&D.
Because you say
Uh,
you're familiar, y'all just didn't have it. It wasn't really big in Africa, where you're from, huh? Oh,
Uh-oh.
I think you froze.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, there you go. You're back, Murewa. I think you had froze for a second there. You said it just wasn't really big where you are. Oh,
Okay, can you hear me
can you
now?
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it wasn't really big where you were, but you've heard of it.
You said? Yeah, I've heard of it.
Okay. So
Okay.
we are going to do that now. First things first. So we done did a lot of the heavy lifting for you in the beforehand, but we did want you to
Mhm.
have some type of choice. So we wanted you to choose, what do you want to be? A rogue, a warrior, or a sorcerer? If you need more
Can you
Oh
give them a
no.
little bit
explanation.
more about what those roles are? Like what? Like because
No, I'm
you
cool with
said you had like
Warrior.
three different characters. Oh,
Oh, you're cool with warrior? Okay. Let me
all
Mm.
right.
show you what your character looks like. Because, we did some of the heavy lifting behind the scenes. So let me just see if this is it. Oops. Oh, no.
And while he's pulling that up, this is going to be a super light version of D&D. If we ever have the chance to like play together, For real, it's like it's a lot more involved. There are a lot more numbers, but we're gonna keep it light. It's
Mm-hmm.
more about the storytelling and as fast paced as we can get it.
So I missed that. I didn't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Well, I was just saying that while Jared's pulling that up, this is going to be a much lighter version of Dungeons and Dragons. We Jared and I play on the podcast, and it usually takes like 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I,
A lot of
yeah, I know
numbers,
they're
a lot of
always like
dice.
super long. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But this is going to be a light version of, 10, 15 minutes. That's what we're shooting for here. Yeah,
Okay.
you got the characters ready, Jared?
Yep, I'm about to share my screen now. Ooh,
Mhm.
I think you'll like this character too. But this is your warrior. You got to share my screen, and okay, here we go. This is the warrior.
Oh, cool.
Did you
This
use a picture of Murewa to make
I
this?
did, I
Yeah, it
did.
looks a little like me. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. It is you. It is you. Just a
How dare
human.
you?
He's just a human warrior, a fun human warrior.
Now I wish I chose mage because my chubbiness would look better with a mage.
Okay, you want to choose mage? Hold on. So, do you want to go back and choose mage?
No, no, no. Let's leave it. Let's leave it.
Okay.
Let's leave it. It might be
Okay.
And Jared,
underestimated.
is this Mufasa in the background?
Look, I
Is that
look.
Mufasa in the clouds?
I can't control all of what the AI does,
Nah,
so
nah, you type that in.
I didn't. I did not. I did not.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, so Jared, who is well, Murewa, first, can you give your character a name?
Oh, let's call him Mufasa.
Oh, let's call him Mufasa. Wait. All right. Jared, and your character
I'll
is
just say
who?
that it's Kairuthro, my
All right.
favorite D&D character. I've been playing for 10 years.
All right. And Kairuso is a mage, the
Kairuthro is
sorcerer?
Kairuthro is a storm sorcerer, like Storm.
Sorcerer. Oh,
How dare you?
how dare you? How dare you? Okay. Great, great. Let me get back to the beginning of this.
Hmm.
All right. So you wake up behind bars in a cell. Um, solid brick walls behind your back. Um, bars in front of you. You can see through the bars. There are other bars and other cells. From what you can see up and down this hallway and straight across from you. Um, You are and you know where you are. You are in the cells of the Iron Hole detention pit, deep below the town of Vexmere. You were caught smuggling magic items. And there was no trial, there was no investigation. They caught you. They apprehended you. They said you did this thing, threw you in jail. Um, what do you do from here, Murewa? And so, in D&D, you can pretty much do anything you like,
Do
and
anything.
how we decide if you succeed or fail is with dice rolls.
Hmm.
Um, and if you want to roll the dice yourself, you can pull up. Oh, are
Well,
you going to just pull it up, Jared?
yeah, I'll put it up. I'll just do it in
Okay.
Google.
Yeah. So this is yeah. You can use Google to do any number of dice rolls, which I
Hmm.
learned like after I started playing D&D online. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool.
Hmm.
But
Okay. I
so
So do I say what I want to do now?
Yeah.
yes, yes, please. What do you want to do?
So I try to seduce a female guard to frame me
Okay,
Okay.
okay. You're gonna try to seduce a
with my
female
beer
guard. So
guts.
so you're not in your armor. You're sort of just in these plain clothes. You don't have any of your usual weapons or accoutrement. Um
Better for
and there
seducing.
are
Mm-hmm.
There are a few guards who you've seen that walk up and down the cell that come and check on the prisoners every now and again. Um, and at this time, a female guard is coming in and she's bringing you your dinner. So you're assuming it's late in the day. She comes in, she lays the tray down. She's also a human, uh, tall, you know, a bit a bit bulky,
What do you mean
she's
she's
robust.
human? How are you sure I'm not
She's
into like elves and weird stuff?
I mean, there are elves, there are everything.
What
We can make
happened to
her
a couple of tentacles?
we, hey, this ain't that story. I see where you going, and this ain't that podcast.
Oh
Well,
goodness.
we'll make her a
Why you
dragonborn.
say human? How dare you say human? Like, you're
We'll
really
make
out
her
the whole fun.
we'll make her a dragonborn. You're right. You're right. Let's get you as much of the D&D experience as we can. So she's a dragonborn. Um, from what you can tell, she has a sword, she has armor on, bronze scales, a dragon-like face, but bipedal, so she walks on two legs, and she has a tail. Um, she's a bit robust. You can tell that she is used to fighting. She's a warrior. She has the similar build to yourself. So she comes in, she lays the food down. She says to you, dinner time. So
What do you
what do you
say?
say to her to begin to try this seduction of yours?
Um, uh, wide might sound a little too dirty about dinner time, but I would like to have more than this for dinner.
Mm.
I like that. And so she listens, she's like, so what would you want? You're a prisoner, so you're not much in a place to make requests.
So do you want to make the die roll to see if she would succumb to
Yeah, yeah. I
my
mean, so yeah, so
advances?
yeah, we're just doing a little role play right now. So you say you want more than this for dinner. She gives you a little pushback. What do you
So
say something else? Do you try to touch her through the bars?
uh um um I take the food, but I still keep eye contact, trying to
Mhm.
continue the conversation.
Mm. Okay, okay. And so we'll roll for persuasion because
Mhm.
I feel like
Hmm.
that in D&D there are a bunch of different skills like how persuasive you are, how stealthy you are, how intimidating you are, how strong you are. So let's use persuasion to see if you can, maintaining eye contact and letting this dragonborn jailer know, you want more than this for dinner and see
Okay.
what she says.
Hmm.
Rolling a d20. 14. Okay.
14, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So she says to you, she sort of like looks around, um, and she says, "Well, I can come back later and give you more than you can handle, or I can or I can open this door right now."
Let's go with opening the door right now.
Okay, okay. So she pulls out a key, she opens the door, steps into the cell, closes the door behind her, and starts to like unlatch her armor. What are you gonna do? You know what?
Um,
I'm gonna have before you say what you do from this point, I'm gonna have you look around. So we're gonna do another perception check this time. So this is to see what else you can see in this sort of jail in this jail cell while you're here in this prison.
Okay. Rolling for perception.
Mhm.
17.
Okay, okay. Pretty good. Also pretty good. So while she's undoing her armor, you notice another figure, not directly across from you, but in the cell to the right, sort of like huddled in the corner, also dressed similarly to yourself, just like in plain clothes. This one has like a little hood up and sort of like squeezed up into the corner, already has his dinner and is sort of like eating. But the jailer is in front of you. She's starting to undo some of her armor. What do you want to do now?
I would reach for a weapon.
You're trying to get her weapon. Okay. Go ahead and we're gonna roll another D20 for your athletics check to see how quickly you can get to get to her because she has the only weapon in the room. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
so how quickly can you get to her and grab the weapon?
Okay, rolling D20. Natural
Oh, a
20.
natural 20. So that's pretty good. So not only do you get over to her, you rush her, you grab her sword out of her belt, but you're able to restrain her and put the sword at her throat. So she's completely at your mercy now. She says, "So you don't have to do this. You can just leave. The door's still unlocked."
And then I become a Boondocks character, and I'm like, I still want that booty.
Oh,
So,
no.
so okay,
I'm
okay.
I'm
So
living. I'm living.
he's living. Okay. So Ruthro, you
Uh-huh.
now you hear this commotion, and you see what's starting to happen over there in Mufasa's
I live
cell.
sparing her
Um,
life. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
Mhm.
Great, great. So you're leaving, you're walking out. And you see Mufasa start to make his way out of the jail.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna say, hey, hey, let me out too. Let me out too.
Do I let him out? Oh, is that the question?
Yeah, it's from you. He's talking to
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Oh, yes. I'm like, yeah, get yourself out of jail yourself. I'm leaving it.
You throw him the key. All right, so he throws you the key, Jared. He throws Kyruthro the key, and he keeps making his way out.
Okay,
What
and
do you?
I'm gonna catch up with him because he seems strong and he seems able to do things that I can't. So I'm gonna be like, hey, mister, don't leave me behind.
Okay, okay. Okay, and from here, you guys walk to the end of the prison, open the door, and you open the door into a room, like an office room, filled with about two other guards.
Hmm.
Yeah, and we're gonna stop it right there because it's like 2:20 now. We're
Yes.
only playing for like
And I'm
15
like,
minutes, so
yeah,
that's a bit of
make
how D&D
yourself
goes.
useful, mage.
Yes, yes, yes. That's just a little sample of what D&D is. We just thought that would be something fun for us to do.
That's cool.
Something, yeah, that was
Yeah.
fun. That was fun. Okay, Murewa, I know that we've talked a lot about Storm. Are there any spoilers that you can give us? Even though I don't really want any, because you have
Um,
you.
we're building up to a story arc. You know, we've not had we've not had story arcs basically. Every issue has its own title, which I like. But for issue 10 to issue 12, we're
Mhm.
going to have a story arc for the first time. And it's going to be the Thunder War arc. So
Mm.
all the stories we're building up to what's to the Thunder War. And it's going to involve the Storm Gods in the Marvel Universe.
Mhm.
All of them. All.
Okay. Okay.
It's going to involve Galactus as well. It's going to involve Eternity. It's going to involve Oblivion, all these
Mm.
entities, and we're going to see this role Storm is going to play, compared to them, you know. And yeah, so that's the story arc I'm like really, really excited about. I can't wait for people to check out. In the upcoming issue, that's issue 8, Storm is going to get a new hairdo. Now that she cut her hair, she's going to get a new hairstyle.
Mhm.
So people should look forward to that. Um, let's see what else. I think that's what I can
Mm,
reveal. And after issue 12, um, we're going to start seeing Storm lean more into dark magic and its consequences.
Ooh,
Note the word consequences. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, so yeah, it gets really fun. It gets really exciting, and get ready for some cool locations. As you've seen since the beginning of this story, we're always going to very cool locations. So we're going to go to some cool realms, pocket dimensions, and also
Mhm.
some cool locations on Earth like Madripoor. So we're going to go to
Mm.
Madripoor. The Mutant Kid in issue 1 is coming back. Uh,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, so it gets really, really fun, really, really exciting. The drama intensifies a lot. Yeah, and like you said, you're seeing a lot of plot points, like the Thunder Gods, oh,
Hmm.
Oblivion, oh, the FBI stuff, oh, the
mhm.
political this, and you're going to see all of them start, even the dark magic thing, because Dr. Voodoo said, are you really going to explore this part of your life? We keep hearing, the descendants of Ashake, you share blood with Agamotto,
Hmm. Hmm.
this is going to come into play, So because that's these plot points gradually weave together, break apart, weave together back again, So yeah, it's going to be nice. This one in the Hellfire Vigil, um, hmm, there's going to be a very cool revelation in the Hellfire Vigil that people should not miss. We're going to
Okay.
reveal the name of someone special in our future. So
Ooh.
Mm.
that's very nice. So yeah,
Yeah.
fun
Okay.
stuff.
That's a
Very,
lot. That's
yeah,
more than I
that's a
expected you
lot.
to share.
That's yeah, that's a lot. And if the past 7 episodes are an indication, the next 7 episodes are issues. I'm saying episodes. Issues are further indication that I don't know what's happening, but I'm going to love it. I'm going to need it. And I remember in the letters section, you were saying that you sometimes feel like an imposter. Well, you're not an imposter, sir. You are a legend because this comic book is legendary. It is going down in history. I
Absolutely.
cannot wait until the trade comes out so I can buy one for everybody that wants to read something and say, what comic should I
Hmm.
read?
Thank
Here
you.
you go. Here you go, because this book is so good. I've never read a book like this ever, not even Blue Marvel. This book is so good and it's ongoing. And I did not see other things until I went back and read it. And now that I see, I am noticing your mind. It is so amazing. But
Hmm.
follow us on social media. Spill Black Geek Energy, Instagram Black Geek Energy, Facebook Black Geek Energy, Blue Sky Black Geek Energy, Twitter Black Geek Energy, YouTube Black Geek Energy, Twitch Black Geek Energy, Threads Black Geek Energy, Twitter BGE Pod. Did you know, DeMarcus, that we had a Patreon?
Absolutely, we do. And that is where we play D&D. So if you want to hear more like the segment we just did with Murewa, go ahead and follow us on our Patreon. Subscribe on Patreon for only $3 a month, 10 cents a day. You downgrade from a large coffee to a small, and that's our Patreon right there.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, DeMarcus, we had a very long, very insightful, very powerful conversation
Mhm.
today. Any final thoughts?
Man, put Storm in your pull list so that you have an issue waiting for you when you go to the comic book store because when they sell out, it's hard to get another one, and you don't want to have to be stealing issues from other people like I did. I got on my pull list now, so I ain't gonna have no more issues. I'm getting every one each month it drops. And this story is so much more. there's so much more depth in this story than I thought, and I'm glad we were able to have you on the show again to talk about everything that you've been writing. Murewa, thank you so much for coming on. And that's it.
Yeah, that's it. I've said all I can say. Murewa, you are a legend going down in Marvel history. You have to be.
Hmm.
I see you in the future consulting on movies like Bendis because you are doing what nobody else could do with this character. Nobody else could do
Hmm.
this, and many have
We're
tried.
Thank
overdue
you
for a
very much.
Storm movie.
Yeah, we're overdue for one, but X-Men is coming up, and they're gonna need some consulting. They're gonna need it.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I think that's all I have to say. We'll see you next time on Black Geek Energy.
BGE out.
Out.